We have an update for you now. A man in Bloomington now is accused of raping an IU student who police found dead at his home.
Police believe the 20-year-old woman had been drinking heavily before she encountered 33-year-old Eric Montgomery. Our
ᵛᵉŻᶦᶠ is in Bloomington tonight, where he's learned that all this happened just a few days before classes on campus got underway.
Family and friends held a celebration of life for 20-year-old Avery McMillan last Sunday in Valparaiso. The IU student died August 17th after allegedly drinking heavily at a house party in Bloomington, then separating from her friends. Her roommate says Avery got out of the car around 2 a.m., but surveillance video shows she made it a half-mile back to her apartment building. Police say that surveillance video shows Avery in the elevator multiple times over the course of a couple of hours, trying to get to her room. But when she punched the numbers, it wouldn't take her to her room because she didn't have her key fob.
Left her friends without her purse and her cell phone, and at one point did return and couldn't get in.
Just before 5 a.m., this beige Ford Crown Victoria entered the parking garage where Avery lived. She wound up dead at the home just west of Bloomington where this car is parked, and Eric Montgomery lives with his parents.
He admits sexual intercourse occurred between the two of them, that indications are she would not have been able to give consent for that. This case is still under investigation. We are awaiting toxicology. There may be more charges.
For now, Montgomery is charged with rape and providing alcohol to a minor.
Arrested 2 men and is looking for a third they believe is tied to a home invasion and homicide last Thursday in Collinsville. 23-year-old Darian Woods was found shot and killed in his apartment. Officers arrested and prosecutors charged 27-year-old Adisa Smith with first-degree murder, armed robbery, and home invasion. Also arrested and charged 40-year-old Demandrel Davis of Belleville. He's also charged with murder, armed robbery, and home invasion. Prosecutors have also charged George Lacey. He faces the same charges. He is not in custody, and police are searching for him now.
And now to a developing story just into our newsroom.
A gunman shoots and kills 2 men right in the heart of Hollywood. This happened just after midnight at the corner of Sunset and La Brea. 4 people were celebrating a birthday when an argument broke out. One of the men pulled out a gun and shot 2 of his companions. The gunman and his friend ran from the scene. 1 man died at the scene. The other died at the hospital. Police are still searching for the shooter and his accomplice.
The decision this morning comes 2 months after the shocking event.
First grade student. I know where that student is.
A 6-year-old shooting first grade teacher Abigail Zwerner as she sat at a reading table in Rich Neck Elementary School in Newport News, Virginia.
So this shooting was not accidental. It was intentional.
The boy seriously wounded 25-year-old Zwerner in the chest and hand. The shooting sparked calls for change from within the community.
We as a society are failing our teachers and our students by not offering them a safe place to work and to learn.
Despite the shock and outrage, Newport News Commonwealth Attorney Howard Gwynn telling NBC News he will not put the 6-year-old on trial. Gwynn says the prospect that a 6-year-old can stand trial is problematic, given that a child so young would not be able to understand the charge, the legal system, or adequately assist an attorney. Instead, Gwynn says he is focusing on others. Once we analyze all the facts, we will charge any person or persons that we believe we can prove beyond a reasonable doubt committed a crime. At the end of January, Zwerner filed notice of intent to sue the school board.
This should have never happened. It was preventable.
Zwerner's attorney said 3 times the school administration was warned by teachers and an employee that the boy had a gun on him. The school board told NBC News they do not have a statement at this time. Police say that gun was legally purchased by the boy's mother. After the shooting, the family said in a statement that the weapon was secured in the home, but words have done little to reassure students who've asked school administrators to do more.
Keep me safe and alive while I can do much more stuff to make the world a better place.
Pretty remarkable young man. The family of the shooter has said that the 6-year-old boy has an acute disability and is getting the treatment he needs under a court-ordered temporary detention at a medical facility. Tragedy all around.
It is. All right, Ann.
A carjacking victim is speaking exclusively to Action News tonight about the dramatic moment he was ambushed by 3 juveniles while pumping gas in Warrington last week. The victim got away unharmed, and police captured the suspects after a short chase. Action News reporter Brianna Gallagher talked to the victim about the incident and the kindness of strangers he's received since the crime.
Normally that's something that, I don't think twice about.
Pumping gas, it's a situation anyone can relate to.
Within a blink of an eye, I was attacked from behind.
The victim, who does not want to be identified, was pumping gas at a Lukoil gas station along 611 and Bristol Road when the unthinkable happened. Surveillance video shows a juvenile approach him from behind, while another one from the side and then a third.
Something was said, keys. I don't know what came for that because I was kind of surprised I was still alive at that point.
That's when he wrestled to get his keys.
My only chance of getting away is if I can somehow throw the keys far enough.
He was able to do that and luckily get away. While he doesn't have any injuries, he's still working through the emotional trauma. The 3 suspects who were taken into custody drove off with the car, which later crashed in Chalfont following a police chase. The victim left without a car and a community still shaken up.
I'm just a dad with 2 kids, and when I found out this was just a dad filling up his wife's Pathfinder for gas, it affected me personally.
When Eric Bodenheimer at O'Neill Nissan had learned the family he was helping get a new car was the one who had been carjacked, he couldn't stand back and do nothing.
We knew nothing of him, then it happened down the street, so therefore it happened to us.
Free oil changes for life and a group effort chipping in with a Golf Galaxy gift card for the kids.
It makes me feel very good, turning an unfortunate situation, into a positive, that there are people that look out for others.
He's grateful to be here today.
Better me than if it was someone elderly or my wife or someone's kid.
Brianna Gallagher, Channel 6.
Another violent stick-up at a local smoke shop.
It happened in Tacoma, where the suspects are still on the loose and a store clerk is now in the hospital. Fox 13's Brisa Mendez is live with more on this ongoing investigation. Brisa, what do you know?
Brian and Jamie, the 26-year-old clerk, was transported to the emergency room with serious injury. He's the latest employee connected to a string of multiple smoke shop robberies in our area. Tacoma police tell me the suspects stormed into Quickie's smoke shop in the 9300 block of South Steel Street around 10:40 this morning, about a half hour after the store opened.
At this time, we know that there was more than one suspect. The suspects were armed, and the clerk was shot. At the time of the robbery, the clerk was the only one in the business.
I spoke to the owner of the business, who did not want to go on camera, but said the suspects attempted to steal cash from the register but left with nothing, and that their employee was in good spirits with positive energy at the hospital. Last month, Tacoma police busted a 15-year-old who allegedly was part of an armed crew of thieves who robbed 5 different smoke shops around the city, beating employees in at least 2 of the break-ins. The same suspects are linked to the similar crimes in SeaTac and Bellevue and remain at large. Anyone with information regarding this case, you are urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Reporting live in Tacoma, Brisa Mendez, Fox 13 News.
Somebody call police. Yeah, we call. Oh my God.
Baby, you gotta stop.
Baby, you gotta stop. He gonna beat your ass.
Stop.
Shit.
I'm not doing nothing for you.
Oh my God.
I didn't call you, did I?
I mean, that's his car.
That's his
car.
Oh.
Get out my car.
Oh my God. I got.
Somebody catch her, man.
Yeah, I got.
Watch out, watch out, watch out.
Don't hit her. Don't hit the dog. Don't hit the dog. Just come on, baby. You gotta. He biting the shit out.
Oh my God.
He biting the shit out of him.
5:30, a major development on a crime that shocked our community. The Nash County grandmother accused of murdering her 8-year-old granddaughter this week
appeared in court for the first time today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lena Tillett.
And I'm Chris Lovingood. A WRAL investigation found social services went to the girls' elementary school back in December. Staff there reported that she was brutally beaten.
We broke this on our WRAL app today, and tonight WRAL's Keenan Willard presses the county for an explanation.
A staff member here at Cooper's Elementary says 2 months ago, Crystal Lane came to school so badly beaten she was almost unrecognizable. They say social services failed to protect the girl until it was too late. 72-year-old Patricia Ricks was brought into Nash County Court in a wheelchair today. A judge asked if she understood the charges against her: felony child abuse and first-degree murder in the death of her granddaughter. Ricks said yes. But as the judge explained she could face the death penalty if convicted, Ricks seemed to zone out, not giving an answer when asked if she had an attorney or wanted a public defender. The state's set to show its evidence against Ricks in court in 2 weeks. Today, WRAL's found that Ricks was first reported for allegedly abusing her granddaughter months ago. Nash County Schools says on December 19th, the social worker for Cooper's Elementary School filed a complaint to Nash Social Services. A school staff member tells WRAL the girl had arrived that day with injuries so severe she was barely recognizable. The staffer says the girl claimed she'd been beaten for refusing to put lotion on her skin. Nash School says DSS investigators came to campus the day of the report and were in contact with the school all week. The district also says a caseworker was assigned who visited Lane and the school multiple times, with investigators discussing this case with administration throughout the month of January. Through it all, Lane and her 4 siblings remained in their grandmother's custody. On Tuesday, the Nash Sheriff's Office says Ricks beat the girl to death, with multiple items in the home used as weapons in the abuse. Today, we asked Nash DSS for a copy of the complaint filed by the school. We also asked what was found during the investigation into that reported abuse and why Lane and her siblings were allowed to remain in Ricks's custody after the school's report. In a statement, the department says it's currently conducting its own investigation into this incident, and when that's complete, more information may be released. Keenan Willard, WRAL News, Nash County.
Marshals have apprehended a man in Memphis who is accused of murder in North Mississippi. 23-year-old Stanley Self was wanted for conspiracy to commit murder by the Drew Police Department. Early October, Drew officials took a warrant out for Self's arrest and requested assistance from Oxford officials and later the task force in Memphis. Yesterday, Self was located on Lowell Avenue. Authorities set up perimeters outside a home. They eventually made entry and took him into custody.
2 teenagers arrested in the armed robbery of a postal worker. Investigators say that the 16-year-old boys showed a knife and an airsoft pistol when they robbed the letter carrier in Melrose. The teenagers were caught on camera running from the scene. Officers say that witnesses and that piece of video helped them to identify the teenagers. The pair told police that they learned about stealing checks in the mail on TikTok.
First, though, tonight, a Seminole County man is locked up facing animal cruelty charges. Deputies say they found nearly 40 dogs in poor condition at his home. So glad you're with us. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
And I'm Matt Austin. Deputies were tipped off about this during a well-being check. News 6's Catherine Silver is live at the Seminole County Jail with details. Catherine.
The Seminole County Sheriff calls this one of the most egregious cases of animal abuse that they have seen. Brandon Blake is now facing multiple charges related to animal cruelty, including 4 for torture.
Not to possess any living organism that is not a human being. So you're not to have a parakeet to a paramuseum. Do you understand, sir?
40-year-old Brandon Blake facing a judge in Seminole County after investigators discovered dozens of dogs in what they call deplorable conditions.
It looked like clearly a puppy mill where he was breeding dogs, cared absolutely nothing about the dogs whatsoever.
According to an arrest report for Blake, investigators were first called to the home in the Midway area Tuesday for a well-being check after Blake was arrested following a disturbance. Once there, the report says they found 4 dogs dead and seized 39 others.
One of the dogs that we received was in such bad shape yesterday. I mean, it died in front of me last night.
The county is now taking care of the animals, various breeds with different needs.
A lot of them came in and they didn't. You could actually see the bones on the dog. Viruses, growths. You can see for this particular dog, there's a growth on the neck that has not been treated.
Blake's booking information at the jail lists his business as Brandon Blake Canine Services.
We joke around how we rescue him from that place because of how filthy it was.
Crystal Rivera-LeBron and Joe Holloway claim they bought their Dutch Shepherd from Blake. They recalled the day they got their dog Maui in 2020.
When we walked onto the property, you could smell the urine just in the driveway. You know, it was pretty bad.
The animals, they should not be in this disgusting place.
Seminole County says they will be issuing civil citations along with that ongoing criminal investigation. They also pulled his kennel license. This case has overloaded the local animal shelter with dogs who are now desperately needed to find homes for them. I'll talk more about that when I see you back here at 6. For now, I'm live in Seminole County. ᵛᵉቬᶦᶠᶦᵦ, getting results.
Police in Brooklyn are looking for the man who choked and robbed a woman inside an elevator. It happened inside a building in Brownsville about 3 weeks ago near the corner of Rockaway Parkway and Winthrop Street. As the 70-year-old victim entered the elevator, the suspect followed her inside and put her into a chokehold. He got away with personal property and about $30 in cash. The woman was treated by medical personnel at the scene.
New video released overnight of suspects wanted in a series of violent crimes against Jewish men in Williamsburg. This morning, the State Police Hate Crimes Task Force has joined the investigation.
Good morning. I'm Chris Ragg.
I'm Mary Calvi. Welcome to CBS 2 News this morning. The NYPD now searching for those suspects caught on camera believed to be teenage boys.
CBS 2's Andrea Klein-Thomas is live in Williamsburg this morning with more on this story.
Well, Chris, Mary, you'll notice behind me that there's an increased police presence in this neighborhood as the search continues for those boys. As for the victims, they're between 56 to 71 years old. Each one was punched in the face, and when those suspects rummaged through their pockets, they realized they had nothing to take.
Police believe these 4 teenage boys are responsible for attacking at least 3 men in Williamsburg early Monday morning. All of the victims are Jewish. You can see in this picture one man was left bloody after being punched. 2 of the 3 victims were taken to the hospital.
After every crime, if you take a look, that has been committed here, there's a meeting with 0 results.
Friends say the victims were walking when they were targeted within a half-mile radius. The first victim was approached on Ross Street at 5 a.m., the second on Clymer Street, and the third victim was attacked on Wythe Place. Joshua Wiener believes he nearly became a victim too.
My car is parked in the back. So I went down in the morning 5:30. I heard somebody running in the basement after me. I ran out fast.
In a tweet, Mayor de Blasio condemned the attacks and promised additional patrols. There was a noticeable increase in police presence yesterday afternoon amid mounting frustration within the community.
There should be security over here, more security.
There are flyers posted throughout this neighborhood promising up to $2,500 for any information leading to an arrest. Reporting live in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, Andrea Klein-Thomas, CBS 2 News.
Okay, Andrea.
11-year-old boy is the latest person facing gun violence charges in Norfolk. The child is behind bars in juvenile detention tonight, accused of shooting a 17-year-old boy. Police say it happened in Norfolk's Young Terrace neighborhood Sunday night. Dana Smith spoke with people who live there and the city's Commonwealth's attorney.
People who live in Norfolk's Young Terrace community say gun violence is an ongoing problem, but they've never seen anything like this.
It's frightening.
Norfolk Police Department investigators say an 11-year-old boy shot a 17-year-old boy Sunday night on Nicholson Street. It's the latest shooting in that area. Willie Arrington said he hears gunfire almost every night.
Every now and then it's during the daytime, too.
The teen is in the hospital in critical condition. Norfolk police officers charged the 11-year-old with malicious wounding. Norfolk's Commonwealth's attorney, Ramin Fadahi, says he expects experts will assess the boy to determine whether he is fit to stand trial.
To assess whether this child has sufficiently developed, his mind is sufficiently developed for him to stand trial.
Fadahi said the child has to have both the capacity to understand what court is and the knowledge of how court works.
If the child doesn't have the capacity, then the child by law cannot stand trial. If the child has the capacity but doesn't have the knowledge, then the child needs to be educated.
The 11-year-old is also facing gun charges.
It just don't make sense. And I've been ready to leave Young's Park, but can't afford it right now.
Dana Smith, 13 News Now.
Norfolk Commonwealth's attorney ᵛᵉŒᶦᶠᶦᵉᶈ said he couldn't comment on whether the parents of the 11-year-old will also face
An
charges.
Exclusive video of a gunman who police say was looking for someone to carjack.
Fox News' Andy Banker reports the rise in gun crime has one St. Louis neighborhood taking video surveillance one step further.
A man flourished a gun just before 11 Wednesday morning in the St. Louis Hills neighborhood of South St. Louis. Minutes later, 2 women called police, saying he unsuccessfully tried to carjack them in their garages.
This is the second time we've seen somebody carrying a weapon.
Residents here have started sharing surveillance camera access to keep an eye on each other as well as themselves. Also, a 4-week pilot program linking 100 cameras over 70 blocks just launched this week.
And those cameras automatically send alerts to a central source. And we have a security officer who's able to look at those real-time alerts.
In this case, cameras provided video evidence for police, though they did not factor into the arrest at nearby Francis Park. According to the charging document, officers were in the park looking for the suspect when they heard a gunshot. They followed the sound and found the suspect here, still holding the gun and a bullet casing. The park is a short walk from 6 neighborhood schools and preschools.
That's not fear-mongering, that's just fear. This individual victimized 2 everyday residents. That's not sounding the alarm to that the sky is falling. That's akin to saying we want help.
It motivates you to consider what you can do as a community to turn things around. We may be the first, but if it's successful, we're there to help other neighborhoods throughout the city.
The cavalry is not coming because there's not enough of them. So we have to pass the hat and do a lot of this ourselves. And I think you're going to see this be a model going forward.
Suspect Isaiah Burns is charged with 2 counts of attempted robbery and armed criminal action. He's being held with no bond. Andy Banker, Fox 2 News.
San Francisco police investigating an attack that left a 73-year-old man dead. Surveillance video shows the victim was beaten to death outside a 7-Eleven store.
It was very tragic. Whatever happened to him, I just feel so sorry for his family, because he didn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that.
Police call the attack random and say their suspect also assaulted 2 other people. Good evening. I'm Julie Hayner.
And I'm Mike Meback. Those beatings happened this morning on Bayshore Boulevard in San Francisco's Visitation Valley neighborhood. KTVU's Amber Lee live tonight outside SFPD headquarters with more on that surveillance video. Amber.
Mike, police and neighbors tell me they want the public to be aware of this attack. It appears to be random and unprovoked. We must warn you that the video you are about to see is graphic.
Surveillance video shows a man viciously beating another man repeatedly along Bayshore Boulevard in San Francisco's Visitation Valley neighborhood Tuesday morning around 6:30. Police say it was a random attack and that officers attempted life-saving measures on the 73-year-old victim, but he died at the scene.
They had a dead body sitting on the side of the street with the tarp over it. And I was like, it was really bad. It was a lot of blood, and it didn't look right. It was like really scary. I wanted to know what happened.
Police say the incident started when the suspect approached a 26-year-old man who was waiting at the bus stop in front of the 7-Eleven on Bayshore. The suspect pulled the 26-year-old into the 7-Eleven and beat him. Police say the suspect also attacked a 70-year-old employee and prevented the 2 victims from calling 911. The suspect went outside and approached the 73-year-old man he kills.
It was shocking. That is like terrible. Somebody just got, beaten to death. That is really brutal and scary.
This man spoke with us on the condition that we not show his face. He works at the auto repair shop that steps from the crime scene. He tells me he often has to deal with people with mental issues coming into the business.
One crazy guy came in and beat us up. Me and my buddy, we got sent into the hospital for a few days because that is like crazy random attack.
He now carries a taser for protection. One neighbor tells me she avoids walking in the area.
It's not safe. They need some type of security. They need security around here because it's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. This is ridiculous.
Police arrested the suspect at the scene. Investigators have not released the identities of the suspect and the man he's accused of killing. The fire department tells me they transported 2 people to the hospital. There is no information on their condition. Mike?
Amber, the name of the suspect wasn't released, but is it someone that police know from prior incidents, or maybe this individual had been arrested for another crime prior?
They did not want to release any information. When I asked them that, they said this is an open and active investigation, and even though they have someone under arrest, they do not, the case is still open. They want anyone with information to come forward.
Right.
Mike?
Amber Lee, live tonight in San Francisco. Amber, thank you.
We're all, sort of in jeopardy of a job right now, depending on if we can pick ourselves back up.
Only on News 4, new video that you're seeing right now, tonight, of yet another act of looting that happened during the historic Christmas blizzard. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jeff Pravral. A cannabis store in Kaisertown is on edge after they were broken into and robbed of thousands of dollars of cash and merchandise during the blizzard. Owners of the store tell us that they are devastated and don't know if they'll be able to reopen after all the damage. News 4's Patrick Ryan has the video you'll see only on News 4. Patrick?
Jeff, the manager of Quality Canna on Clinton Street near Bailey is literally picking up the pieces after a Christmas night break-in. The CBD store has been open less than a year, and with tens of thousands of dollars in product taken in 15 minutes, they're nervous about the future.
It feels like we've been betrayed here. We're not people that should be treated like this. Nobody should be treated like this.
As Buffalonians hunkered down for last week's historic blizzard, burglars took aim at a Kaisertown CBD shop. It happened Christmas night, the thieves making away in under 15 minutes with tens of thousands of dollars in product. Justin Majuric is the store hiring manager, and he says he watched it all unfold on his smartphone.
They pretty much took all our inventory, all our products, the cash that we keep on hand for drawer fillage.
Cameras captured someone smashing through the glass front entrance. 2 others join inside, shattering donated display cases, ripping open drawers, and taking products. At one point, the trio gets spooked and runs out of the store, only to return and continue the ransack.
Break into someone's business on Christmas, take advantage of the fact that the community has suspended, emergency services, kind of thinking to yourself, oh, no one can get out to them. That's sad.
Majuric tells us he's filed a report with Buffalo police. While the financial losses put his 8-month-old business in danger, he's willing to forgive the thieves.
What made you do this? And then why don't you do anything else with that same drive and that goal that it took to do this? I hate to say it, but you are very smart individuals.
Though he feels betrayed, Majuric says he would employ the burglars to help better them.
It is betrayal. A lot of us come from Broadway and Fillmore, East Side areas. A lot of West Side people work here. We're all trying to better ourselves, better our community, and, pull people up with us.
Majuric tells me overnight security guards are usually on site, but we're off for the holidays, and he can't thank the local business community enough for their support. In the studio, Patrick Ryan.
Tonight, a brazen thief is on the run, and police hope that you can help them catch the crook. CBS 4's Joan Murray has the report.
He was hitting the door really hard. He said, oh, let me get out, let me get out. I said, we're not going to call 911. Just give me the stuff and then you can walk away. Let me get out, let me get out. So that's when I was trying to walk to open the door for him. And he walked to me and then pushed me and then grabbed the stuff. He was just grabbing stuff like this.
The worker pushed to the ground, describing the robbery that happened 3 weeks ago at this Rainbow clothing store on State Road 7.
He was very mad that the other person that was in the counter was going to call 911.
She says she became suspicious when the man started gathering a lot of clothes, and she ended up locking the door early.
So I texted my store manager. I said, we're about to get robbed. She was like, what? I said, yes. And while I was texting her back, and he tried to walk to the door.
After figuring out how to unlock the door, the robber turned around and went on the attack.
I didn't feel any pain, but he just pushed me. I was kind of like, oh my God.
The thief grabbed more clothing and ran out the door. That's when the Broward Sheriff's Office says he got into his getaway vehicle.
Detectives say that he fled in a red pickup truck that was waiting outside. So if anyone was on North State Road 7 on December 7th around 8 o'clock at night, if they saw a red pickup truck, a red truck leave the Rainbow Clothing Store, please call detectives.
The worker is back doing her job. She said the robber got away with several $100s worth of clothing, mainly jackets.
And nothing like that's ever happened to you before?
Actually, yes, it's happened a lot here.
Yeah, unfortunately, it happened before at this Rainbow store off of State Road 7. Now, if you know anything about this crime, you can remain anonymous. Call Broward Crime Stoppers 954-493-TIPS. In Lauderdale Lakes, Joan Murray, CBS 4 News.
Police in Elk City are trying to solve a recent rash of business burglaries. Numerous businesses were broken into Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning last week. And although these surveillance pictures are pretty blurry, police hope someone knows something about these burglaries and will come forward.
A Rockford Public School student is arrested for bringing a weapon to school this afternoon. A staff member at Auburn High School overheard the student make a threat, then questioned the student and found the weapon. The school was not put on lockdown. Auburn's principal said in a note sent to parents, it all happened within about 3 minutes. And, quote, I am relieved to be able to say with confidence that our students and staff are safe at school. Rockford police will remain at school as a precaution, and they continue to investigate.
And this is important. The district attorney of St. Tammany did tell Eyewitness News that he will seek the death penalty. Now, this case is bringing back emotions on the North Shore as both sides gathered in the courtroom today. It was a case that stunned people who live on the North Shore. Just after Thanksgiving, the Reverend Otis Young, a recently retired priest from St. Peter Catholic Church in Covington, and his caretaker and longtime church worker, Ruth Pratt, were found brutally beaten to death with their bodies burned. Tuesday, Antonio Donde Tyson pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder in their deaths.
I don't know what was going on in his mind, and I don't have nothing to say about it.
Miss, he pled not guilty. What are your beliefs on this?
I don't know what to believe.
While Tyson's sister did not want to talk about what her brother is accused of, this friend of Ruth's did not want to talk about what she felt when she saw Tyson in the courtroom, but said her elegant, classy friend is in her daily prayers.
Miss Ruth's laughter. She found joy in everything, so did Father. Ruth was someone that everyone could turn to and with a trouble or a problem, and she would instantly have time for you. And you always left feeling much better than when you arrived.
This crime has still had a dramatic impact on the city of Covington. People in Covington live with fear now that something terrible might happen to them at any moment. It's really terrorized the city. And that's the kind of thing that impacts the quality of life. So we're going to pursue it all the way.
Tyson's being represented by the Capital Defense Project of Louisiana, a group that handles death penalty cases. Attorney Kerry Cucci said talking about his strategy for that possibility would not be appropriate.
We don't have any of the discovery or anything else, so even to tell you what type of defense we would present or what we might do would be premature because I don't have the information from which to base it at this time.
Now, here's what happens next in this case. There will be a hearing on the DNA evidence. That's because all of it needs to be used up during the testing. Now, permission is needed for that, and the defense wants to be there to make sure it is used properly.
New tonight, a 4th man has been charged in connection to the Country Tavern fatal shooting in January. Good evening, Twin Tiers. I'm Jackie Gillis. Thanks for joining us for 18 News at 11. According to the Chemung County District Attorney, 37-year-old Tashim Jackson. He was reportedly arrested in and extradited from Florida. Jackson was charged with 1 count of second-degree murder. This all stems from the fatal January shooting of Jeremy Shazer outside the Country Tavern. This is the 4th arrest and murder charge in connection to that case.
The mother of a 6-year-old who police say shot his teacher at Rich Neck Elementary School earlier this year is now facing charges. Our Tracy Sears spoke to an expert about what the charges are and explains what else Newport News officials are looking into.
Earlier Monday, a grand jury in Newport News indicted the 25-year-old mother on 2 counts, 1 felony child neglect and also leaving a loaded firearm in the presence of a child. She is the first person to face charges in this case. 3 months after police say a 6-year-old student shot his first-grade teacher, Abby Swarner, at Ridgeneck Elementary School in Newport News, a grand jury has indicted the child's mother, Deja Taylor. Swarner was hospitalized for nearly 2 weeks after being shot in the chest and left hand on January 6th. The teacher has since filed a $40 million lawsuit against the school board and several administrators over alleged repeated warnings that the 6-year-old child was not only a danger to others, but had a gun that particular day. While Commonwealth's attorney Howard Gwynn did not seek charges against the child based on his age, he asked the circuit court to enlist a special grand jury to investigate circumstances surrounding the shooting, including security issues, to determine whether additional people are criminally responsible under the law.
One grand jury can look at the entire incident. And quite frankly, they can investigate anything that needs to be investigated, they determine needs to be investigated.
Criminal defense attorney Ed Riley says unlike regular grand juries, special grand juries can be used as an investigative tool to evaluate facts in the case.
In this circumstance, they're brought together specifically to look at this incident. So the expectation would be that they would look at all the players involved and make a determination at a probable cause level, which is the role of the grand jury to determine if a true bill should be granted, which is essentially an indictment.
Shortly after the shooting, Taylor's attorney released a statement saying a gun was legally purchased and kept secure in a closet with a trigger lock. Virginia law on felony child neglect says any parent, guardian, or other person responsible for the care of a child can be charged if they show reckless disregard for human life. If found guilty of the Class 6 felony, Taylor faces up to 5 years in prison. On the misdemeanor charge of having an unsecured loaded gun, Taylor faces up to a year in jail. The attorney for Deja Taylor says his client will turn herself over to authorities later this week. In Richmond, Tracy Sears, CBS 6
Into
News.
us this morning, police say they're investigating a vicious attack on a 72-year-old man in the West Village as a hate crime, and investigators just released these images of the suspects. They're accused of punching and kicking the victim while making anti-LGBTQ statements. It happened back on September 15th near West 17th Street and 9th Avenue. The victim was treated at a hospital for cuts to his face and a broken jaw.
And that is our big story tonight, violating a veteran.
A Vietnam War veteran targeted by 3 men outside his Milwaukee home. Suzanne Spencer is live at Milwaukee Police District 4 with how he got away. Suzanne?
Mary and Ted, this 66-year-old man was headed to his garden this morning and saw 3 men approach him. What happened next, though, got Milwaukee Police District 4 detectives involved in trying to figure out who these men are. On a day honoring the sacrifice of veterans, this Vietnam War veteran found himself using his instinct from his days at war at his Milwaukee home.
He was getting ready to go to the garden this morning, and I guess 3 young guys came and tried to rob him with the gunpoint.
On the right, as Saley Vang sits in his car, 3 men approach from down the alley. They close in on the car, one with a gun visible, before demanding Vang's keys. As he gets out, he doesn't give them the keys, but walks away before the suspects take off. His son standing alongside him in the hours after.
Scariest thing would be losing my dad right there, because I saw the video and they actually had the gun pointed at him.
As the suspects ran, the video shows Vang run after them. What it doesn't show, though, is him getting back in his car, taking off after them before his car was struck with 4 bullets.
There's one there and one by the gas tank right here.
A neighbor's car was also struck, but the 66-year-old vet would be okay.
Very startled, but he said, you know, like he was in the war, in the Vietnam War too, so he said it doesn't really faze him.
Not fazed in the face of evil, and a bullet still wedged inside of his car.
He looked at them, he said, today's not my day to go.
And he showed very fearlessly today it was not his day to go. He gave police his surveillance, told them his story. He guesses that 2 of those men involved were carrying guns, and he also suspects they were in their teens. Anyone with information about this should give Milwaukee police a call. Reporting outside Milwaukee Police District 4, Suzanne Spencer, Fox 6 News.
Suzanne,
a man
thank
convicted of killing 2 Westerville police officers learned his fate today. A judge sentenced ᵛᵉቬᶦᶠᶦᵦ to 2 life sentences plus 26.5 years in prison. Smith murdered officers Eric Joring and Anthony Morelli in February 2018. 10 TV's Glenn McIntyre has been in that courtroom since day 1 of this trial. He has more on the final words from the judge to the killers of these officers.
Just as he did throughout his murder trial, ᵛᵉቬᶦᶠᶦᵦ said nothing and showed nothing. No expression, no emotion, no signs of remorse. And today, given a final chance to speak, he declined.
Is there anything that you would like to say here?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir.
Today, the families of officers Eric Joring and Anthony Morelli asked not to be photographed. They chose not to speak, standing on the powerful words they shared during the trial.
I would like everyone to know that Tony was not just an officer, that he was a son, a brother, a husband, and a father.
The girls to this day will call his cell phone to hear his voice on the voicemail because that's the only thing that brings them comfort. They will text him to wish him happy birthday or simply tell them about their day.
Judge Richard Fry shared these words from the Joring family.
They said, "We understand Mr. Smith was shot several times. Does he wonder why he's still living? We fully believe God spared him that day to give him time to repent for this awful crime. Because God does love him and wants him to spend all eternity in heaven. God has given this man a chance that he is to tell people that he's sorry for what he did. This jury spared your life, and you owe it to the rest of us to take this to heart and to be as good a person for the rest of your life as you can possibly be. It will not pay back the families and the community that you cost these wonderful officers, but it will be a way for you to show in some small way some remorse."
And Smith was eligible for the death penalty, but the jury instead recommended life in prison, and by law, the judge was not allowed to overrule them and impose death. Today, Franklin County Prosecutor Ron O'Brien says he and the officers' families accept that sentence with the knowledge that ᵛᵉቬᶦᶠᶦᵦ will die in prison. Live at the Franklin County Courthouse, Glenn McIntyre, 10 TV.
Right now in Atlanta, we are learning more about a daycare worker in jail charged with second-degree murder. It's in connection to the death of a baby in her care. Arrest warrants show Stephanie Thompson put a 6-month-old on a boppy pillow while he was sleeping. Officials say the child stopped breathing and died. This happened at the Easter Seals Child Development Center in Southwest Atlanta in February of 2021. An investigation found the child went without proper supervision anywhere from 20 minutes to 1 hour.
A Memphis woman is facing charges tonight after police say she stole up to $60,000 in merchandise from DHL warehouse where she worked. Investigators with Nike say that they had their suspicions and discovered the theft when they looked into it further. WRT's Jordan James is live with more on what she's accused of doing. Fill us in, Jordan.
Greg, the woman who's accused of committing this crime is named Shimon Davis, and it appears that she used her job to facilitate an illegal operation.
Inside of this Fox Meadows warehouse is where Shimon Davis spent most of her days working. That all changed yesterday when she was arrested.
And it's close around holidays, so people are going to do anything to get some money.
Including stealing from a processing facility. Davis is accused of printing duplicate tracking numbers for items that she didn't purchase and shipping it to different addresses.
That don't make sense to me. Like you can get up and do your own job daily, and you just choose to steal somebody else's stuff. They work hard for it too, so I just don't see why would you have to steal from other people.
A police affidavit reveals that Davis was caught by Nike investigators. It's unclear how long the operation had been going on. Nike was able to recover $10,000 worth of merchandise that was set to be delivered yesterday.
I just think that's bad because you can simply have your own products and sell your own instead of using somebody else's stuff to get money off of.
After being questioned by detectives, Davis confessed to the crime and has since then been charged with theft of property.
Davis was released from jail this morning and is set to appear in court next month. We reached out to Nike and DHL and have not heard back from them. Reporting here live downtown, Jordan James, WREG, News Channel 3.
Thursday morning around 9:30, Tam O'Donnell went over to her friend's house to drive her to the hospital. She had left her car running out front so she could quickly pick up her friend and hit the road. Right about the moment her friend makes it onto the porch, you can see someone in the road walking towards the car. The two women didn't notice as the same person got inside Tam's car, and seconds later, the car takes off. Tam starts to run after it, but realized,
what can you do? You can't really chase a car down.
She called 911. Seattle police took a report, and the car is still missing.
It's pretty shocking, the way in which it happened, just right in front of us.
Luckily, the crime was caught on a Ring camera. The man who stole the car may not be able to get very far either.
I have the key, so whenever he stops the car or runs out of gas, I don't know if he'll be able to get it going.
And just hours later, she's on the lookout.
Sorry, that's a Highlander.
You're okay?
I was like, is that my car?
She's hoping someone has seen her car, a lighter blue 2015 Toyota Highlander with a bike rack and a USS Navy license plate holder.
I rarely leave my car running, and then the one time that I do, we're right in front of it and someone happens to walk by and take it.
Seattle police are investigating, and Tam is hopeful to get her car back as soon as possible without any issues.
We have a lot of other things going in our life as well aside from this, so it's a bummer. Yeah, but I mean, it's a car, so life goes on.
Thankfully, it wasn't worse.
I'm fine. Nobody got hurt.
In Ravenna, Madison Wade, King 5
Well,
News.
a security camera captures a burglar breaking into a Kansas City home and stealing valuables from inside. We first showed you this video as police asked for help to identify the suspect. This was earlier in the week. Only on 41 Action News, reporter Nick Starling spoke exclusively with that homeowner as he waits for police to find and arrest the suspect.
I only noticed that something was amiss when I came home.
Daniel Cherian couldn't believe what he saw when he came home on November 14th. His home wasn't the way he left it.
Just unusual, to say the least. And so I asked my wife, and she was like, well, maybe you should check the cameras.
And here's what they saw. You can see a man go to the front door. It's locked. He then headed to the back door. Yep, it's locked too. So the suspect stood on the railing, climbing onto the balcony. He then kicked in the door to get inside. From another camera on the inside, he came down the stairs with their little dog there, rummaging through the Cherian's things, and he took a backpack full of items and left out the front door.
I was angry. I was very angry about the whole thing.
Taking a closer look at the suspect, Cherian recognized the guy.
This guy actually came to our house unsolicited, initially offering to rake our leaves. Turns out he was probably casing our house at that time.
So here's what the man tried to take. He first opened this brown box.
To him, is probably the least valuable thing was makeup that my wife had bought.
But then the suspect did find some valuables he stuffed into a backpack worth around $20,000.
He took a lot of jewelry, laptop computers.
Cherian and his wife have lived here for 3 years and never had a problem, but they were proactive because they installed these cameras, which will help police identify who did this.
Part of it's us just being very practical about things, but yeah, it was certainly helpful.
The suspect also took the Cherian's sense of security in their own home.
It's unsettling in that, I feel a little uncomfortable, going for a run or, leaving the house. I don't know what I would do to the guy if I see him, I feel like I was violated.
Reporting in Kansas City, Nick Starling, 41 Action News.
Ybor City fight turns deadly. A Tampa man is behind bars for dealing that deadly blow. 8 on your sides, Victoria Price joins us live from Ybor tonight.
Hey, Stacey, what started out as a fun night out here in Ybor City celebrating a new job ended with a mother mourning the loss of her youngest son. New city, new job. Aspiring football coach Deontay Neal had his life's plans all falling into place, according to his mom, Dion Neal.
Deontay did not deserve this.
Last Wednesday night, the 25-year-old went out with friends in Ybor City. It was around 2:30 on 7th Avenue when a man started to pick a fight with him over a girl. Even though Neal says her son tried to defuse the situation, another man came out of nowhere and punched him.
He did not see that punch coming.
Deontay hit the pavement, hard. And by the time his mom got to the hospital, he was brain dead. Doctors took him off life support 5 days later.
It's just hard for me to even understand that he's not coming back.
On Friday, Tampa police arrested 32-year-old Justin Jasper for dealing the deadly blow. The fitness model now facing manslaughter charges.
I just can't understand why. I probably will never understand why. And I want him to be punished to the fullest extent of the law. There's no forgiveness in me at this moment.
And Justin Jasper remains in jail tonight. Court records show he was recently charged with battery as well in Miami. Reporting live in Ybor City tonight, Victoria Price, 8 on your side.
St. Louis police arrested a man they say shot and injured a White Castle employee during an armed robbery yesterday in University City. Matthew Saber is charged with first-degree assault, armed criminal action, and unlawful use of a weapon. His cash-only bond is set at $250,000.
News 5 starts right now with breaking news.
Breaking news, Mobile police have arrested a man in the death of a young mother of 2. Kenneth Lee Campbell is accused of murdering Lilia Smith in March. News 5's Jason Carter joins us now live from Mobile Police Department headquarters. Jason, what can you tell us?
Good afternoon, Roseanne. Well, right now we are waiting for Mr. Campbell to be escorted out of Mobile Police headquarters. They're doing what is called a perp walk. Now, Campbell is accused of killing a woman back in March 3rd, in fact, 27-year-old Lilia Smith. Now, police just told us that these two did have a relationship. In fact, they had a child together. Police did confirm that Mr. Campbell has been charged with murder. He is 51 years of age. Now, we should be seeing this perp walk as this door opens right now, and we're actually going to see if Campbell is going to say something as soon as he makes his way out the door wearing a white prison garb, making his way here. So we're going to bring our cameras and microphone up to him to see if he's going to have any comment in regards to the death of a woman he had a child with. Mr. Campbell, is there anything you'd like to say, sir?
Not guilty.
Did you kill her?
I did not.
Were you in a relationship?
We were.
Did you have kids together?
We do.
What do you think happened to her?
They told me she was dead.
And you didn't have anything to do with that?
I did not.
You've been charged with domestic violence in the past.
Yes, I have.
Any time with Miss Smith?
No.
Where were you the day that she died?
At her house.
Mm-hmm. You think that's why they've charged you, sir?
I don't know. You have to ask them.
Anything else you want to say to your kids? Anything you want to say to your kids, your family?
Well, they looking, they see it. It's all good. They're wasting the taxpayer money. And they'll answer.
Artists, you just heard live Kenneth Campbell stating that he is not guilty, being escorted into the back of a Mobile police car. He is charged with the murder of a woman that he did, in fact, have a child with. So we will have much more on this story coming up tonight at 10. For now, reporting live from Mobile Police Headquarters, I'm Jason Carter, WKRG News 5, local coverage.
Police are searching for 2 suspects in a series of robberies, and at least one of them was caught on camera. Watch as one of the suspects rips a purse away from a woman loading her car in a parking lot after shopping. This happened Friday night at Broad and Wingo-Hocking. Fortunately, no one was injured. The 2 suspects drove off in a gray sedan, and police say they are also suspects in 5 similar robberies in the area over the last 2 weeks.
Breaking news, a local teacher is facing charges of performing sex acts on 2 more underage girls. Joseph Tolliver had already been arrested for having an ongoing sexual relationship with a girl under 14. He was a teacher at Campbell Drive K-8 Center in Homestead. Police now say they've identified 2 more victims, and they're worried there may be even more out there. Both of the newly identified victims allege that Tolliver repeatedly fondled them at school. One of them says it happened 30 times. Now, we have reporters speaking with the police now to find out more about the allegations. Don't miss our report tonight on CBS 4 News at 11.
Biggest kid in 5th grade, and you acting like the smallest one. I wonder what your mom looks like.
Only on 5, a St. Lucie County student says she was suspended this week for trying to defend a classmate.
The 11-year-old says she took a recording of her teacher allegedly bullying another student.
News Channel 5's Megan McRoberts has more on why that student at Samuel Gaines Academy is now being punished. Megan?
Well,
Well, Kelly, it seems anymore most students do bring a cell phone with them to school, and they keep them with them while they're in the classroom. One student says she used her cell phone to record audio of what she says depicted her teacher bullying another student. She thought she was doing the right thing, but she says the school said her video was illegal. 11-year-old Brianna Cooper has good grades and works hard at Samuel Gaines Academy in Fort Pierce. But a video on her phone got her suspended for 5 days.
I thought I did the right thing.
Brianna says one of her science teachers was being mean to a student, so she took out her cell phone and started recording what she says were threats by her teacher to a classmate.
Don't let the size fool you. I will drop you. Yeah, right. You don't know me. That's all I'm telling you. So don't give me no look.
Brianna says the teacher had been mean to students before. This time she wanted to prove it.
You think that they would actually believe a student over a teacher?
Biggest kid in 5th grade, and you acting like the smallest one. I wonder what your mom looks like.
You don't speak to children, let alone your students, like that.
Brianna says she turned the recording into a teacher wanting to defend her classmate, only to get called to the principal's office and suspended. The school telling her it was illegal to record a teacher without them knowing.
I never had anybody tell me you cannot record.
She thought she was doing a good thing. She's 11 years old. She doesn't know the law.
Law enforcement says recording someone can be legal if there is not an expectation of privacy. In this case, Brianna's mother, Cassie Faulkner, says the school told her there is an expectation of privacy, even in a large classroom. Faulkner worries her daughter's suspension sends the wrong message to other students.
Pretty much saying to students is, if you think anything is wrong, don't try and do anything about it.
Now, Faulkner says she's also worried because she says her daughter is suspended during the day she says kids at her school are prepping for the Florida Standards Assessment. We did reach out to the school district for a comment, but they say they have no comment right now as there is an open investigation. Reporting live, Megan McRoberts, WPTV News, Channel 5.
All right, News 5, LA County District Attorney George Gascon files criminal charges after a series of daytime robberies. 3 suspects are charged with crimes that took place over several months. One caught on camera happened outside at 99 Ranch Market. Remember this in Rowland Heights back in July? Officers say 2 suspects approached a couple in the parking lot, pistol whipped a 64-year-old man several times. Authorities say they stole his $60,000 Rolex.
3 defendants are accused of committing a total of 9 robberies over a period of 5 months, most of them in the area of the San Gabriel Valley and Glendale. These were brazen robberies, all of which occurred during the day, and they're very troubling to all of us.
The suspects in this robbery are D'Angelo Thomas and Demourier Watts. Charges include second-degree robbery and elder abuse. Thomas is also accused of similar crimes in Glendale, Rosemead, La Puente, and Temple City. Items stolen include cash and more Rolex watches. A third suspect, Eric Burham, is accused of joining the pair in robbery in Glendale.
Miami-Dade police say a teacher was arrested accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a student. These are alarming allegations.
Let's get right to it. Here's CBS 4's Austin Carter. He's at the alert desk with what we know so far. Austin?
Yeah, Keith, that teacher was arrested yesterday. A student telling detectives that he was her boyfriend. This is 30-year-old Davis Hodge, a teacher at West Homestead K-8 Center. That's on Southwest 6th Street near Redland Road. The student telling investigators that they began chatting in October through text and Instagram messages about school, but then the conversation became sexual. They shared explicit photos with each other and then later had sex. This is footage of him making his appearance in court. Now, she was 12 when their communication started and is now believed to be 13. According to Hodge's arrest report, he confessed to the crime after being brought into the Miami-Dade Schools Police headquarters. Now, the district has responded to these allegations in that arrest in a statement calling them deeply troubling. He has been a teacher with the district since 2016. Back to you, Maribel.